Amendment B explained. Sort of. What does the passage of Amendment B mean for our property taxes and home values? Man, that's a great question, and it's also one that's not very easily or immediately explained. So to give us a little perspective before I launch into my explanation, let's keep in mind that our property taxes here in the state of Colorado are exceptionally low. As a means of comparison, consider this. A $500,000 home in Austin, Texas would have property taxes of around $13,000 a year. Compare that to the less than $3,000 a year that we would pay. And keep that in mind as I go through this explanation. So Amendment B repealed the Gallagher Amendment. The Gallagher Amendment was passed in 1982 in response to kind of a homeowner revolt over rising property taxes at the time. What it did was it put into place a quite complex formula that dictated how property taxes are determined, and it shifted some of the burden of property taxes from homeowners to businesses. Under Gallagher, residential property cannot make up more than 45% of the overall tax base, and businesses then have to shoulder the other 55%. So it kind of worked like a scale that has to stay in balance. When it was first enacted, the commercial real estate rate was assessed at like 29% of the property's value, and residential property was assessed at 21% of the value. But as people moved into our state and our population grew, and at the same time home prices went up, this number, the assessment rate on residential property, had to continuously drop and be forced down in order for the ratio to stay at that 45-55%. So we've had a continuous decline in the rate of property taxes since the Gallagher Amendment was first enacted in 1982. Today, our property tax rate is assessed at 7.15%. Now, and that's helped us keep our property taxes low in spite of rising home prices. Man, this sounds like an amazing thing. Why would the voters vote to repeal that? Well, it wasn't so good if you were a business owner, because businesses have had to shoulder more and more of the tax burden. It also wasn't great if you lived in one of the rural counties in our state, because there home prices were not increasing and yet property taxes were dropping. And so the municipalities there were collecting less and less money to fund essential services. So now that it's passed, does it mean that my property taxes are going up? Well, not right away. What it does is freeze the rate that our property taxes can be assessed at the 7.15% that it's currently at. We also have a moratorium in place at the moment on any sort of tax increase due to the economic impact of COVID-19. What it does mean is that the property taxes are not going to fall to the 5.88% that they were predicted to be at in 2021. They're going to be frozen at that 7.15%. And over time, what that means for us as our property values increase, our taxes will also increase. The long-term implications of all this on our home values and affordability really remains to be seen. Just remember that nationally, Colorado has the 6th lowest residential property taxes. And even our businesses, according to the Tax Foundation, we have the 14th best property tax climate for businesses. So I hope this has helped you understand Amendment B a little bit better. I got most of this information from an article that was posted in the Colorado Sun on September 29th of this year. So check out the article if you want a more in-depth explanation. In the meantime, remember that I'm always here for you as a resource for all things real estate related.